Welcome to Jennifer Davies Online. Today's tutorial is going to be about some features about LinkedIn and why I love them. So first up, I'm just going to log into LinkedIn. And next, I'm just going to show you my profile. So profile menu, and then view profile. And here we are. So this gives you an example of the first feature I love about LinkedIn. It's basically like Facebook for professionals. In this case, similar to Facebook, it provides a way to network with other people, but it's more professional in the sense that it allows you to put your resume online. So here's an example. Right under my name, I have a tagline, which is a statement that summarizes what differentiates you from the competition. And so as an example, I could have put a title here, such as Career Development Practitioner, but not everyone knows what that is, and so I chose to go with this instead. And if we scroll down, you can see there's different ways you can market yourself. For example, on here I have a link to my blog, my YouTube channel, my Twitter, and then moving on, for the summary is kind of like an elevator speech. If you haven't learned about it before, an elevator speech is usually a 2-minute summary of your most marketable skills, and usually it's in response to the question, tell me about yourself. So this is where you're first meeting someone and you have basically 2 minutes where they're going to form an impression of you. And so you really want to make sure you have your elevator speech down pat, and to really make sure it emphasizes your strengths that would basically how you'd want to sell yourself. Another thing I like about LinkedIn are the recommendations feature. These are kind of like mini reference letters in a way. And rather than having to get a paper letter, which some people might not be as comfortable doing, it's a lot of work, etc., what you can do on LinkedIn is you can link up, and basically it's like a friends list of all these different people that you used to work with, or perhaps you were students with, etc. And then it's a really nice process just to send them a request to do a recommendation for you, and you can see I have examples here as well. Nice thing about this is whenever you're going into an interview, you can take snippets of some of these quotes, for your own quotes of course, and you can include them on your resume, in your cover letter. You could even print out the recommendation section here and have that on hand during an interview as well, in case you want to give specific proof of the claims you're making about your skills. So just with recommendations, I'm going to go here for a second. I'm just going to scroll up, and you can find them under Profile, Recommendations, and this takes you to a screen where you can see what recommendations you've received. For example, if I scroll down, see I received 4 regarding being a student at Conestoga College, and it also gives you an idea where you can ask to be endorsed. So for example, I'm currently in Toastmasters. I can click Ask to be Endorsed, and this gives you an example where I can start typing in people's names that are in Toastmasters with me, and then I could do a quick explanation here of what they could do to help me out by giving me a recommendation, etc., and then click Send. Just to go back now, sent recommendations. These would be recommendations that I sent to other people, and this gives you an example of what the screen looks like. So if I were to open up one of my friends, Melissa's, it gives you an example. So I had to select one of these. I was a teacher, I was her advisor, I studied with her. This is because when I put her as a relationship, I put her as a student. So that's why these options are here. Different options if you pick a coworker, for example. And then you just type in your text. You can view or edit it and send. I'll click Cancel. And so when someone receives a recommendation, just going back to Receive Recommendations, when you receive a recommendation, you can click Manage, and you have the option to either show it or hide it, and basically you also have a way to approve it. You don't have any control over the writing of someone else's recommendation. However, when you initially receive one, you get an option to ask them to make modifications. For example, if someone sends you a recommendation with a typo in it, you really want them to look professional as well. So in that case, I would definitely send it back and, mention that there were a couple typos and ask that they be corrected. Likewise, if you felt that a specific skill wasn't mentioned in your recommendation, you could also say, well, I'm also really good at multitasking. Could you say something about that, etc. And at any time, when you have a recommendation, I could either, hide it or show it. And for recommendations I've sent to other people, I could change the wording if I want to, or even delete them. So you do have a lot of control over the people you're recommending. I'm just going to go back to my profile. So next up, you can see education, and then your experience. And this is basically, as I said, it's like a resume. You get to choose what jobs you want to put on here that you've worked in. You can also do a little blurb, for example, about what you did in that job. I've kept mine pretty brief because I'm switching roles, and most of these positions I've worked at are not involved in career coaching. And finally, another thing I like about LinkedIn there are groups that you can join. And I'm going to click on the Career Development Practitioner group just to show you what I mean. This is a group created by Rob Straby of Conestoga College, and this is used for people that are in the field of career development. And the nice thing about this is, and the groups in general, is that you can participate. So essentially you can click on any of these topics, then you can look at the post and you can comment on it. You can see other people's comments as well. And I could add a comment if I wanted. So the nice thing about groups it really helps with your self-marketing in the sense that it helps you to be more visible in the field, but it also helps you to see different jargon that's being used and really keep your knowledge up to date about various new trends, etc. So basically what I've covered is it's very similar to Facebook in that it's like Facebook for professionals. So another way it's similar to Facebook is that you have an activity feed, and this is very similar to Facebook's wall. So as an example, it shows who has recently friended, and if I were to scroll down and see more activity, it'll show other things like if I did a post, etc. I don't really want to click on older for this tutorial though. The other nice thing about LinkedIn is that it provides you different ways to find contacts. There are 3 main ways you can do this. First, you can give LinkedIn access to your email contacts, and then it'll search those contacts for possible links. Or you can look at the people you may know list, or you can do a contact or company search. So this is an option you can do. If you're comfortable with it, you can give LinkedIn access to your email, and you enter in your email and your password, and what LinkedIn will then do is look at all the contacts that you've ever sent an email to from that email address and then provide them as an option to people that you know. But if you haven't, it'll still go through every contact that you already have and look at their contacts and give you suggestions of people you may know. So it's very similar to Facebook in that sense. And really, the power of LinkedIn is all about the 6 degrees of separation. A lot of times when you're looking for a job, it's who you know and who your friends know, etc. That can really help you. Another way to source new contacts is just to do a search. For example, maybe you worked with a Bob Smith. You can just type it in, press enter, and all these Robert and Bob Smiths will come up. And as there, in this case, there's 31,000 results, you can then filter that list just by scrolling down. For example, maybe you know the company they've worked at, you could enter it here. Or you can look at, second connection, so these are friend of friends. Or you could do third degree and everyone else, so this would be friends of friends of friends. But for now, I'll just do friends of friends because there's so many. You can also look by location, such as Canada, or even type in a city name. And there's so many different ways you can filter that list. So even just by doing that, you could say, well, maybe this is the Rob Smith I want to know. And then I could click Get Introduced or Add to Network. So I'll do Add to Network. And then I would indicate how I know him, basically. And then he would get an invitation saying, Jennifer Davies wants you to join her LinkedIn. Do you agree or not? Another thing you can do that's really helpful is you can pull down this list to do companies, and you can search for a company of interest. I've already done a LinkedIn tutorial on this, so I'm not going to cover it for this tutorial, but if you'd like more information on this and why that can be useful, I direct you to my other tutorial located on the YouTube channel, Jennifer Davies Online. So with LinkedIn, I've already shown you, it's like Facebook for professionals. The recommendation system is wonderful. It's a great way to keep in touch with people that you've known and worked with. It's a great way to source new contacts and increase your visibility. So I hope you enjoy LinkedIn. If you have any questions, or if you'd like me to do a tutorial on this topic and more a specific feature or a different topic, please let me know. I can be reached via my website at www.jenniferdaviesonline.com, or my Twitter is JENDAV_online, or of course my YouTube channel, Jennifer Davies Online. Thanks very much.